Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here this afternoon. I'm excited to announce that we have a new member to Fort Bend County Executive Leadership Team today. As you all maybe already know, that we approved the position of Director of Economic Opportunity and Development earlier this year, and of course, interviewing several candidates. Throughout the county and outside this region, and getting help from so many people, county commissioners, and also I selected Carlos Guzman to lead this newly created office in Fort Bend County. As I always say, Fort Bend County is moving forward. We say that hashtag Fort Bend Forward, with 60% of the land mass is undeveloped, and one of the most educated workforce live in this county, and also, as you know, one of the fastest growing. Fort Bend County has an enormous potential to become an economic engine, a driver in this region, and we should and must attract various businesses, industries, so on and so forth to our region. And I believe Carlos is equipped to do that, large or small, corporation or small business. We want you here. Fort Bend County. We are looking at a very different ways. That's the reason why we actually took charge and decided to move forward. And this is absolutely, I reiterate that this is not an effort to uh, uh, send a message saying that there are so many organizations in Fort Bend County, Fort Bend Economic Development Council and Katy Economic Development Council, numerous chambers, Fort Bend Chamber, Fort Bend Central Chamber, and numerous economic development departments in various cities in Fort Bend. And my goal and my desire is to bring everybody together. And it doesn't matter somebody is coming and opening a business, whether in Missouri City or Sugar Land or Stafford, doesn't matter. They all are in Fort Bend County. And so Carlos would be able to hold a kind of an umbrella structure to help everybody, so that we could be an economic driver in this region, as I mentioned earlier. And I believe that we found Carlos Guzman as the Director of Economic Development and Economic Opportunity and Development. Carlos will oversee Fort Bend County's effort to promote economic development, and by setting strategic goals for economic growth and prosperity, targeting diverse industries and working with existing industries and also our regional partners to strengthen county's economy moving forward. We are building infrastructure, we are building mobility, we are creating a climate to attract numerous businesses locally, and also attracting more from outside of this county, maybe many cases outside of this region. And in that, all HCAC and all that is going to be our best partners in this effort. And as I mentioned, Carlos's experience demonstrate he has built a relationship and has the knowledge of all movers and shakers in this industry, and I believe he possesses the qualification. That's the reason why we decided and to create and moving forward, because he is in the process of setting up this department actually, and become our county one of the most successful economically driven. And my goal, I always say this, I see that every day people drive to Houston. We want some traffic coming the other way. And absolutely, that's my goal, and I hope that our commissioners court completely agree with that. And at this point, I definitely, as I mentioned, our goal is to bring everybody together, whether it is the Economic Development Department, EDC we call, Chamber of Commerce, cities economic development departments, every jurisdiction who got an interest in economic development. That's our goal. And I'm repeating that second time. At this point, I wanted to invite Commissioner Grady Prestage, who played a leadership role in this whole process. And without his leadership, maybe we wouldn't be here today. And so, Commissioner, I ask you to say a few words.
Thank you, Judge. As a 32-year member of the Commissioners Court, I have to give a historical perspective on things. Fort Bend County has come a long way.
Yes.
We went from a rural slash suburban sleepy county to an urban county with a population approaching 1 million people. This type of announcement wouldn't have been possible 30 years ago. And so it's been a long journey to get here. And just like most journeys, that last mile is always a tough one. The Commissioner's Court had to, first of all, manage our own expectations. What do we want? What is reasonable? What could we afford? And Carlos didn't cheat, but what could we afford? So we had to have that deliberation and understand what type of person would be the right fit for this county at this point in time. And I think we've done that. It was worth the wait. We have a wonderful director with youthful energy, and he's an old soul. He's wise beyond his years. I think he'll be a great person for Fort Bend County. His first job is one representing the county's interests as we formulate a strategic plan with some of the other stakeholders in the county. That way we can ensure that we're all working together to make things happen. That strategic plan is involving citizen input from various sectors, and it's a process that's underway now, with the county paying 50% of the cost of this study that will determine how everyone will work together, how this puzzle will fit together. But also it'll tell us what we need to be focused on as a county for this department. And it'll give Mr. Guzman a chance to build this department around expectations that are consistent and that'll work with everyone else in this county to make this county the wonderful county that it is, and the wonderful county it's going to be for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. As I mentioned, without partnership, economic development never happened. And it's absolutely a fact, and one of our best partners, and we wanted to continue to be that best partner. Here represented Susan Davenport. Please come and say a few words, and also your experience, and we'd like to hear from you.
Just thank you, Judge George and Commissioner Prestage and all of the Commissioners Court, and frankly all the residents and businesses of this great county. On behalf of the Greater Houston Partnership, our board of directors, our chairman, and Thad Hill, CEO of Calpine, and all of our 950 member companies, I want to congratulate you and this county on such a great movement forward in developing Fort Bend County's future. You know, with an already impressive record, and you articulated it so well, Judge George, that the diversity of this county, the population increase, the international acumen, the schools, all of the different assets, the land opportunities, developments, that is like the poster for the perfect economic development opportunity. And I'll tell you now, you've added what I would call the icing on the cake with Carlos Guzman. So he has been an outstanding part of this region for quite some time. And I think that his ability to bring together the focus for what you're trying to undertake and doing so well already, this takes all of your momentum and it pushes it forward. So I just congratulate you on such a good decision and an opportunity. I will just briefly say, as part of our 2022 economic development scope of work at the Greater Houston Partnership, our chairman, Thad Hill, really outlined and put together 4 specific themes that he thought would bring this entire region even greater success. And one of those speaks directly to what you are undertaking here. And again, I think this was the perfect place. You were already on such an amazing trajectory, but it was really to increase that collaboration and engagement with the strong counties and communities that make up this entire region. Greater Houston and this entire region that we're all a part of have amazing opportunities and abilities that we can bring to the table. And I think that this, again, Fort Bend County has been a shining star of that movement forward and in leading our region. And I think you have now you can say you're just beginning again the next phase of opportunity, and I expect it to be quite a bright one. So thank you again on behalf of the Greater Houston Partnership for all that you're doing and bringing to this region, your leadership, again, the economic opportunities that will create the future of this great region for decades and years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. I really appreciate it. And as you know, finding the right economic development director was not an easy endeavor. And in that process, maybe, I don't know, year and a half, we are taking that journey. We took that journey, and one person put a lot of time and effort, in this effort is Nicole Ledet, our HR director. I will ask you to say a few words, about that journey.
About the journey. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Excuse me. First of all, I want to start by thanking Judge George and the entire Commissioner's Court for sanctioning this effort, the search for this particular opportunity. Their vision came forward before I came here, but when I got here, they said, hey, we need to have this done. And so we did go through a pretty competitive process. Fort Bend County, from its inception, has sought to attract, engage, and retain exceptional talent. And Mr. Guzman is just another example of that, the exceptional talent that we want to bring here to Fort Bend County. Our employees are public servants, and they take pride in servicing our community. Human Resources is committed to creating solutions that will attract and retain the best and the brightest to serve our residents here in Fort Bend County. The creation of our Economic Opportunity and Development Department will serve to foster job growth and continue our commitment to progress and prosperity for the entire Fort Bend County. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Guzman on his new role as Director of Economic Opportunity and Development, and I look forward to helping to support him as he builds his department, works with his community partners to make Fort Bend County the best place to live and work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. At this time, I will invite the man himself, Carlos Guzman, and he is taking a big endeavor, because we didn't have a department when he came on board, and he's just starting from scratch and meeting with our community members. The first trip, he said he already finished with our commissioners and our cities and our other economic development partners, and so it's a big task. Anytime somebody, especially also economic development, is you got to be moving faster, and so it is actually an honor and privilege to have somebody like Carlos Guzman with the experience and understanding about this region. And I will ask Carlos to come up and say a few words.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Judge, Commissioner, Susan, Nicole. Thank you, everyone, for this opportunity. It's not easy to launch a new department. I've done it before. It's very worthwhile, rewarding, seeing the benefits down the road. But I'm very, very excited to be here in Fort Bend County. I've been doing this for over 16 years. I had the pleasure of working at the City of Dallas, and I'm also part of the GHP alumni. So being at GHP, I got to see the region as a whole, the growth, bringing projects all over the region, and always found it very interesting coming to work, projects in Fort Bend County, because as Susan mentioned earlier, everything is here. The recipe is here. We just have to put it together. And like we like to mention, economic development is a team sport. And like the judge mentioned, with all the chambers of commerce, the cities, All the different players are here to maximize the potential for Fort Bend County, as we talked about all the growth that is coming. One of the stories, I think I mentioned this to you, Judge, but my first project in the Houston area, I used to work for another community, not GHP, and we lost against the community in Fort Bend County. So I like to be on the winning team, so that's why I'm coming to Fort Bend County. Thank you.
So, and I just wanted to say, it is absolutely an honor and privilege to stand in front of you. Ma'am, I know that you are from KD EDC or KD Chamber? EDC. And of course, I just wanted to definitely introduce the KD EDC, Vanessa Wills, right? And welcome, thank you for being here. And I just wanted to say a few things and conclude this conversation. Huh? Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. So thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate it. And we will be taking some pictures and stuff like that once we are done. And those who are watching this, and I just want you to know this, Fort Bend did a lot of investment in various areas. One is safety and security. Commissioner's Court invested $18 million to bring our county currently one of the safest in state of Texas. We wanted to continue that, and we will continue to do that. And we are actually doing, and as you know, in that whole process, we are become the most vaccinated county. In the middle of COVID, we added more than 55,000 additional people moving to Fort Bend, and the third fastest growing in state of Texas. The 13th, I believe, fastest growing in the United States. And so those who are watching, those who are listening, those who are planning or looking to move to a vibrant place, this is it. And we have one of the most highly educated workforce in the county, and we are at very close to 900,000 people right now. Considering we only had 52,000 people in the 1970 census, we are exponentially growing, and one of the most, not one of the most diverse county in the country, ethnically diverse. And so we are welcoming anybody and everybody who got an interest in doing business or calling Fort Bend home. And that's the message I wanted to send out. And Carlos, I wanted to wish him the very best, along with our Commissioner's Court, wanted to wish him the very best to accomplish that goal. So with that, I will conclude. If you have any questions, well.